Hi friends, welcome to my YouTube channel SS Analysis. First of all, I would like to tell you that if you are watching this video first time, subscribe my channel to see my more upcoming videos on analysis of different commodities and equity indices. And second important thing is to watch this video till its end to understand this thoroughly to take your decision. Your work will motivate me to be regular in working more hard for you. So let us start the day to analyze the movements of natural gas futures and WTI crude oil futures because both of them are going to have inventory position today. So first we will have the announcement of natural gas storage at 10:30 a.m. where the expected level is 94 billion cubic feet, whereas this was 118 billion cubic feet last week. So friends, here we will have to see that whether are we going to have this injection in two digits lesser than the expected levels. There could be a big bounce in natural gas futures, and just after half an hour at 11 a.m. we are going to have crude oil inventories. So here you can see that the injection level is much lesser than the previous week. So this time I'm expecting a withdrawal in crude oil inventories because this decides the pace of global recovery. Global energy crisis have created a plethora of problems because here I find that a steep rise in oil and gas prices could delay global economic recovery. So friends, here I find that these levels of oil and gas inventories could create an extremely volatile move between 10:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. We could find an extremely volatility both in natural gas futures and the crude oil futures. So friends, now let's have a look at the current position of natural gas futures and the crude oil futures. So here you can see the movements of natural gas futures in an hourly time frame. So here you can see that how the natural gas futures have tested a 7-year peak on October 6 at the levels of the 6.526, for where we have seen a steep fall which continued up to the levels of the 5.394 what we tested on October 7, and since then the natural gas futures have been consolidating amid this range from the levels of $5.835 to $5.343. So friends, here I find that the natural gas futures have already formed a base here at the levels of $5.356, from where we have seen a strong reversal on October 13th. So here you can see that how the natural gas futures have been still maintaining a strong position well at the levels of the 5.790. So friends, here you can see that how the natural gas futures have been maintaining well above the 9 days moving average after the formation of this bullish crossover in an hourly time frame, as I have already explained in my last video when the natural gas futures were trading here well above the upper end of Ichimoku cloud. Since then, we have seen a steep rise in natural gas futures. So friends, here I find that the natural gas futures could find a bumpy move first after the announcement of this weekly inventory, but this could remain extremely volatile and the volatility range could be from the levels of the 5.318 on the lower side, and on the upper side the natural gas futures could test the levels of the 6.314. Natural gas futures could take a sharp volatile move between 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. So friends, here you can see that how the natural gas futures have been maintaining in an uptrend, whereas you can see a breakout well above the upper end of this uptrend zone, where I find that currently if the natural gas futures take a sustained move well above the levels of the 5.835. So friends, here I find that if the natural gas futures find a breakout well above the psychological resistance at $6, well before the announcement of today's inventory, we could see a bumpy move up to the levels of the 6.314 on the upper side, and I find that this will be the level from where a sharp sell-off can be seen in natural gas futures, where the natural gas futures could test the lows of the 5.315 on the low side. So friends, here I find that the natural gas futures could remain extremely volatile from 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. here. So this will be my expected volatility zone for today's inventory. So friends, now let us have a look at the movements of crude oil futures. So here you can see the movements of WTI crude oil futures in an hourly time frame, where you can see that how the WTI crude oil futures found a sharp sell-off above the levels of $79 on October 6th and continued to move downward and finally tested a low at $75 on October 7th. But since then, the crude oil futures have been showing good strength. So here you can see that how the crude oil futures have also showing the same movements what we have seen in natural gas futures, because here you can see that how the crude oil futures have found a steep reversal after testing a low at $75 on October 7th. Since then, the crude oil futures continue to move upward and finally breached this resistance what we have seen here and continued to remain in an uptrend and finally tested a high at $82.17 on October 11th. But since then, the WTI Crude futures have also been maintaining in a range-bound territory from the levels of $79.34 to $81.63. So here you can see that how the WTI crude futures have shown an extremely volatile move here on October 12th, and once again the crude oil futures remained under some selling pressure and finally tested this support once again on October 13th. But since then we have seen a steep surge in crude oil futures where they found first resistance at $80 and currently maintaining well above the 9 days moving average in an hourly time frame after facing a stiff resistance at the level of $81.64, which looks evident enough for the upcoming volatile moves after the announcement of crude oil inventory, where the crude oil futures could test the levels of $82 on the upper side, and on the low side they could test this support level once again at the levels of $79.51. So friends, be ready to see in action in crude oil futures and the natural gas between 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. So friends, here I find that both the natural gas futures and the crude oil futures could remain extremely volatile after the announcement of inventories. So thank you friends, thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, don't forget to share this video with your more and more friends. Thank you.